Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our weekly show. And as has becoming increasingly the norm, our favorite guest is not here today. I'm calling Benjamin a guest because he is more of a guest than a host, it seems, in recent episodes. Our man is not here today, and it's just me. Going to walk you through our top 5 stories of the week. How's everyone doing? All good? Drop me a line in the chat. As always, that is open. I'm doing okay. It's an interesting experience being a father. As you can see, I'm a bit pressed for time, not looking as clean as I perhaps normally would, but I don't think you really care. I think what you care about is the news of the week. So let's kick it off, starting with the top funding rounds. Right. So we have a few big funding rounds that have been announced in the last week, starting with a company called Trace, which raised $47 million at a valuation of nearly 200 million, 190 million. What Trace does is that they are essentially a video technology company, right? They create automated highlights, which they will personalize and then send to you, the user. And especially they focus on youth sports. So they will not send it to the youth per se, they will more likely send it to the parents. This is the platform that I'm talking about. Short personalized videos that you can't wait to watch. So they'll create a highlight clip of just your or your kids' moments within whatever game they're watching. So Trace is the first one, 47 million for them. Who invested in this? So they've got Next Gen Capital, Lake Star, Toba Capital, Next Gen, and yeah. So they had a 15 million round in late 2019. So that's Trace. Up next is Community Gaming. Community Gaming closed 16 million. Also a nice chunk of change. Community Gaming is a esports competition platform. So basically they help, if you want to compete in different esports tournaments for different esports labels or games, you can find them on Community Gaming. Interestingly, some big names in the round, starting with SoftBank, then going to Animoca. Animoca seems to be putting their hands in any sort of NFT play, which is what I suspect Community Gaming will very soon launch. Binance, Bitcraft, Coin Fund, and a bunch of other names, as you can see here. So quite a few serious investors putting their might behind Community Gaming. This is the platform as it stands. You can see, they have a bunch of games, Axie Infinity, the Axie Indian Premier League, not ironically named, but Valorant, a bunch of games that you would probably be familiar with, and a bunch of newer ones if you want to check them out. So Community Gaming was the second, and the third one I'm going to cover is Tap. Tap is essentially a streaming company. That's what they started as. They started as solutions for streaming OTT providers. And they've gone to more than that. Now they've added various other layers onto the sports stream. So it's a flexible way to watch and bet. Important words. And I'm guessing a lot of the recent fundraise is connected to Tap's sports betting offering. So there are obviously a lot of integrations with gaming and commerce and payments, etc., etc. They have raised 10 million from, let me find that, led by Accomplice and Verance Capital. They had previously raised money from Advantage, is one of the funds. Sandy Agarwal, interesting guy. I've met him once. He's the CEO. The previous investors are not mentioned, but Accomplice and Verance Capital are the latest funds that are interested in Tap. All right, that is our first story done. Let me pull up my screen for our next round of stories, and there are quite a few interesting ones. Okay, let's go. Starting with the NFLPA. By the way, if our favorite friend, the Portuguese guy, Pedro Moutinho, I think his name is, who always messages us in Chinese. Pedro, if you're listening, I'm still waiting for the translation of that message, man. Okay, let's go to the NFLPA story. Yeah, 6 new startups are going to be pitching at the NFLPA, and that's the National Football League Players Association Pitch Day. That's what the NFLPA stands for, if you don't know already. Yeah, right here. 6 diverse startups will present their revolutionary business concepts to athletes, industry experts, etc. On the 28th of April in Las Vegas. So maybe you can check it out if you're around. These are the companies. I'll go through them in a second. What will they get? Apparently, not a lot of cash for starters. So they will get 25,000 in marketing services. So it's essentially an equity for a media for equity kind of deal with the NFLPA. Another 25,000 in services from one team. Different contributions, consultation from other companies. So no cash. It looks mainly like it's for the publicity that the companies would be interested, and for a bit of one-on-one times with NFL players who maybe they can bring on as um, brand ambassadors or something to that effect to help them promote their companies. So which are these companies? Bandwagon is around Fantech. Yeah, so they will help you launch some sort of the NFT situation. That's what that talks about. Hydrostasis, depending how you want to pronounce it. Sorry, gives you personalized hydration monitoring, which is interesting. Helium helps with sleep and mental wellness. Impact Biosis is for recovery of athletes. Point gathers all your wearables data from different devices. If you use, I don't know, a Garmin, an Apple Watch, a Nura Ring, for example, they will gather it from all those into one platform. So a fitness data aggregator. Zone In helps with nutrition meal planning. Yeah? So these are the companies who will be pitching at the NFLPA. If you're in Las Vegas, maybe if you're not, maybe they have a virtual way for you to join. You can check that one out. All right, from one accelerator cohort to the next, we have Techstars, who announced their cohort. In fact, I had managing director Jordan Flegel on a podcast episode a few weeks ago when they were announcing that the application round was closing. Yeah, so now they have closed it, and they have announced their cohort, which will begin. Well, it's already begun actually. This began a couple of days ago on the 11th of April, and demo day is on the 7th of July. So plenty of time for these 13 startups to go through their 13-week mentorship program. Hopefully, it'll be lucky for them. Yeah, so Techstars Accelerator is, if you don't know already, is founded by Next Level Fund, 50 South Capital, Pacer Sports, NCAA, Indiana Sports Corp, which is why it's hosted in Indy, and the Indianapolis Colts, of course. Yeah, with the Indy's Motor Speedway. So hence by Indy in the name of the accelerator. So who are these startups? As always, bunch of new names. I have to be honest. I didn't know. I think I knew just one of these companies before. But yeah, FTN Network, which is, as you can see, betting, daily fantasy sports data. Rewire Fitness, which is a fitness tech play. VO2 will work in NFTs and tokens. Scrimmage is sports betting. Even Left is computer vision and fitness. Performance running coaches. Femtech is microbial, antimicrobial leggings for women. Interesting one. Curious to see what they get up to. Game Play AI is a B2B sports betting company. Fit, again, in body fitness tech. Season Share is fan-facing ticketing platform. Rep One What do they do? Yeah, this is for trainers. Fans Place, another fan platform, and Thoroughbred Racing, which is in sports betting. Yeah, so they will go through the Techstars network and get a bunch of access to really good people and hopefully develop all of their solutions. That is the Techstars cohort. Next up is a fun. We're motoring through these stories here today. Actually, not too much to talk about. Yeah, so the Sixers Innovation Lab. Um, yeah, we've known them for a while, and they haven't been particularly active for a while. I have to say. So now it seems like they've set up a new fund, $25 million VC fund, launched by the Sixers Innovation Lab team. And that's the guy who heads the team, apparently, Svetberger. I believe that's who that is. And of course, this is owned and operated by the group that owns the Philadelphia 76ers and also the New Jersey Devils. That is the Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment Group, HBSE, if you know them in that way. So they were doing a lot of work for a lot of years, Berger said. But yeah, they wanted to launch a small fund, which is for early stage startups, uh, which is what they talk about. We want people to partner, blah. Yeah, so the new fund will be esports and gaming, direct to consumer products, and business to consumer. So B2B to C or D2C or esports. Essentially, they're saying anything which is end consumer facing. Yeah, they're not interested in B2B solutions which are selling to teams, clubs, etc. We've seen this a lot in the sports tech space. B2B solutions don't get as much traction, um, with good reason also. I mean, there are some funds who might take up a project or two, but for the most part, even those funds will have a pretty active consumer facing portfolio. Yeah, it's clear the opportunities are there. We have seen a small change. I can talk about the data that we saw in our recent reports. For example, in Asia, less than 1%, or in the Asia Pacific region, less than 1% of all investment in sports tech went into the B2B space, into what we call our four executives sector. Um, about 67% was in solutions for fans, another 33% was in solutions for athletes. I remember that because I wrote that article like this just this morning. That report will be out soon. In North America, in Europe, sorry, it was about 40-40-20. So 40% in athletes, 40% in fans, and about 20% in B2B and for executives. And in North America, it was also similar. I think the B2B sector was about 25%. So 20 to 25% is where it usually is. In Asia, it is way down, less than 1%, like I said. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. The B2B segments, B2B products don't get the attention, and this new fund will also not be looking their way. Some of that the first Sixer Innovation Lab Fund has already backed includes Betterview, Shopee, Loki. Um, yeah, they've got some good companies. I have to be honest, I don't know any of those names. They don't really ring out too much in the current sports tech environment, but they have done well, it seems. That's why they've been mentioned. Loki has already been acquired. And also, the fund is known for its diversity. So at least 65% of funds had at least one minority founder, and 40% had at least one woman founder. So they're looking to bring entrepreneurs from all areas. And in fact, I think most startups are doing that themselves. I think they're trying to build diversity into their own teams because they see the value that perspective brings. All right, that is our second story for the day. Our top story for the day, FIFA. Yeah, well, I think we've covered this story a while ago, but it seems that FIFA has actually finally gone live with it. FIFA launched their own streaming business with a platform called FIFA Plus. Here that is. Yeah, it starts with a little documentary about Ronaldinho. Um, yeah, I don't know why. It's something about FIFA or the World Cup, or you just associated with Brazil, don't you? Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not European. Maybe I'm a bit neutral because India doesn't do much, and the World Cup anyway. But just seeing the yellow and green and blue and holding up that beautiful gold trophy, just kind of fits. So yeah, Ronaldinho's where they start. So they're doing a bunch of documentaries over here. So okay, let me take a step back. What exactly is FIFA Plus? FIFA Plus, as you can see, is a content platform. Yeah, it's a streaming platform. Right now, it's all free. It's a bunch of free content, documentaries on Ronaldinho. You see Dani Alves, all sorts of full match replays from past World Cups, other interviews, other stories. In fact, there are some behind the scene documentaries from this guy, for example, is a quote unquote hairstylist, a salon, a barber, I don't know, two elite footballers, HD cuts. If you want to watch a documentary about him, you can. There are stories about all sorts of things. So this is what they've started with. Yeah. FIFA gets into the streaming business with the new soccer platform, FIFA Plus. Now, it launched, by the way, just a couple of days ago on Tuesday. This is free right now. It might cost something in the near future, but for now, it is free. What do they offer? Yeah, they're offering apparently over 40,000 live games already. Yeah, from 100 member associations. Now, I'm guessing these are not from the big associations. Yeah, you're not going to get too many big games on here. You're certainly not going to get the World Cup on here. Not this one for sure. Maybe a future one will be simulcast on FIFA Plus along with their own rights, but at least not anytime soon. Yeah, because FIFA sold their digital rights much in advance. But there will be lots of content from lots of other associations of international matches. Think of it as maybe like a Maikujo approach, which is bought over by 11 Sports, which is pushing out a lot of live football and doing volumes of matches to generate views rather than a couple of matches which might do millions of views themselves, right? So they've got highlight clips from all sorts of from the archive. They're also launching it in 5 different languages: English, German, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. And they will add Mandarin, Bahasa, Korean, Japanese, Italian, Arabic, and Hindi within a few months. Man, India is being taken very seriously, though it must be said that Hindi is very restricted in its reach within India already, but that's a whole other conversation. What I talk about in this story, yeah, 1,400 matches will be streamed monthly. They want to get to 200 million users by the end of the year. So some ambitious, pretty ambitious project. There will be also 1,000 women matches. But yeah, so FIFA taking the initiative and launching their own streaming platform. Look, I mean, this is a story that we've seen gather legs. We covered this in our recent North American sports tech report, yeah, about how sports streaming was, or live sports streaming was, first of all, attracting the tech giants. We've had Facebook bid for multiple rights from La Liga to the NBA in different parts of the world. More recently, Apple and Amazon. Apple has already acquired rights for the MLB. Amazon has already acquired rights for NFL Thursday night games. They both are in the running to acquire more rights in the American market. Amazon already has rights to Liga in France. Netflix has already puts out so much content. YouTube has been in the market for rights, and all 5 of them, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, all picked up a tender for the latest IPL, the Indian Premier League bid, which for a 5-year right cycle, the minimum bid is apparently the bid threshold is 4.2 or 4.1, something like that, $1 billion. So the IPL, which is going on right now, by the way, the IPL going for big bucks. So look, so we already had this big influx of the tech giants. Then you add all the leagues doing it themselves. The NFL started talking about the NFL Plus. Um, Yeah, which everybody wants to call it Plus, Disney Plus, FIFA Plus, NFL Plus. Everybody's doing it. HBO Max. They've gone in a slightly different direction, but in the same direction. A different word for the same direction. Um, so yeah, everybody's launching their own Plus version. Um, NFL was had a meeting of the owners association. I think it was a few weeks ago where they talked about their offering. La Liga has launched their offering. It's debuted, I think, in Indonesia and the Philippines. I believe it's the Philippines, but yeah, two markets basically across Asia where they're launching their own streaming platform. FIFA now the latest. So basically, I expect definitely the DFL, Premier League, all of them to follow. This is going to be a thing for sure, where you have all of the major leagues will definitely have a direct-to-consumer offering. We saw the NBA was the pioneers. They have been in so many digital topics, whether it's streaming, whether it's NFTs, whether it's innovation labs, etc. They've long had this in their arsenal in terms of how they push out digital media rights. But now FIFA is jumping in as well. Yeah, so let's see what they learn from there. That is a wrap for me. A quick episode. Yeah, because I'm all alone as a host. Again, I have nobody to share my thoughts with, except you, of course. I mean, let's say bounce thoughts with. The chat is always open. If you'd like to drop me a line, yeah, those are our Twitter, LinkedIn. You know where to find us, Instagram as well. And of course, make sure to check out our website, sportstechx.com, for all our latest reports. We've just published our European report. The North American report went out yesterday, and the Asia Pacific report will be out next week. Lots of cool data in there. All right, guys, that's a wrap from me till next week. See you guys then. Ciao.